Welcome, and when I first started YouTube and this channel, it was about Marvel Zombies Zombiecide. Why? I wanted to talk about this game. I wanted to talk about things about this game and A Song of Ice and Fire war game. And this campaign came up. I was very happy with how it turned out. Till the end, when they doubled the shipping. And then it came to the realization that, first off, they said, oh yeah, it's because containers from China cost more now. Except we're not paying for containers from China. We're paying for the shipping once it gets to the US. Now, I can say my shipping once it got to the US was considerably lower than the $75 they charged me. Considerably. But, as it is, it's what happened. And when this came about, I had two choices. Cancel my pledge, or eat it. So I ate it. That simple. I ate it because, one of the reasons I ordered this game was because my two stepsons seemed interested in it as well. They were like, oh, that's kind of cool. Marvel Zombies? That's awesome. Now, in our intervening time frame, both of them got a little older, went to college, decided they didn't want to go to college, and went on to do lives somewhere else very far away and don't have the money to visit. So the likelihood that I'll ever play these games with the boys is pretty slim. That makes it even tougher. So here I was, like, wow, here's why I started the channel. And this is a lot of product. I went in on the pledge that wasn't quite all in, but almost. I didn't get Galactus, and there was a couple of box sets I didn't get. I did spring for the plastic tiles. I don't know why. That seemed like a stupid move. How did I have them? But it's $20 I don't have now. Oh well. Anyway. So, yeah, this has been something. So now I'm looking at it going, okay, now what? Well, I could just cover it on my channel. I mean, that is the thing to do. And break it down by box and then do a gameplay video, maybe. I know I said I would do a gameplay video for He-Man. I just never got around to doing that because other things came up. Hopefully other things don't come up for this one. Maybe I can get that He-Man one out too. But this whole experience soured me to CMON. And when the DC Deceased came up later, I didn't get it. And I said that's probably what I would flip for, and I just did not. I just said no. No, you did too much on this one, and I still can't. So now I stopped playing Song of Ice and Fire war game, and yeah, they started upping the prices on those anyway, and I felt it was unfair, so I didn't even bother buying any of those. So yeah, that's kind of the story of how I kind of fell out with CMON. But now, what do I think about this game? Actually, I kind of like it. Despite everything that happened, I do kind of like it. I'm kind of glad I got it. So for this round, we're going to go over the core box. Marvel Zombies Zombiecide. Now, this is a core box, but get this. These contain the rules to play as a zombie. First time ever in Zombiecide. You get to play a zombie. You get to play a superpowered zombie. That's even better. Now I want you to keep this in mind because this becomes bigger later. But let's go over some of the contents. Now inside you get shield troopers. You get shield guards. And you get shield specialists. If you count about all the miniatures you get in this purchase, the miniatures break down to about 80 cents a piece. That's before you factor in all the other stuff you get. So really, it's not a terrible deal. It seems like a lot, though. So, what you do get, though, is a bunch of bystanders. Now, bystanders, basically, in this version of the game, if you attack or, quote, devour a bystander, you get a special power or talent for a time afterwards. And that can be useful. Now, keep in mind, normally, if you're beside a bystander, you get an advantage. So, and from what I can tell, I haven't checked them every single bystander versus zombie mode or hero mode, but looks like they're pretty much the same advantage. So, that translates. Anyway, you got J. Jonah Jameson. And this is a good sculpt. I mean, it looks like J. Jonah and he's holding a newspaper. You, of course, have Mary Jane, aka Mrs. Spider-Man. Agent Coulson in a more comic accurate look. I do like it. I think it's cool. Blind Al from Deadpool makes perfect sense. Aunt May from Spider-Man. It's an old lady, guys. I mean, that's what you got. Thunderbolt Ross. Yes, Mr. Thunderbolt Ross is in this game. Pepper Potts, holding a kind of conspicuous case there. Again, nice mold. Hydra Bob. I actually kind of like Hydra Bob's sculpt. I think it's pretty cool. Sharon Carter. Okoye from Black Panther. Betty Ross. And Wong. Now, of course, Wong in the comic is not a sorcerer like to the levels of Doctor Strange, nor did he ever get to attain that power. But he's cool. Everybody likes Wong, right? Right. Now, as far as the zombie heroes, you get Captain America as a zombie. Yeah, I know. Kind of weird, isn't it? This is kind of an Avengers theme box set. Well, okay, you can argue a couple things. And we will get to where you can argue about. You have the Cap. I really, really love this sculpt, and I mean, I love what they're doing with the bases too. Now you notice the bases with the bystanders is kind of plain Jane. Yeah, that is what they normally did with bases on a lot of these figures. It's very apparent too in the Masters of the Universe game, but in this game they went all out, so that was cool. You have Iron Man as a zombie. Ooh, yeah, I really like this one, and he just looks cool, and I mean, you can see damage and everything, and it works. The Wasp looks freaky as hell, especially if you've seen any of the painted artwork. She just looks wild, and her sculpt looks wild too. Secretly, the most powerful superhero in the world. People don't realize that. And of course, the Hulk, which is pretty freaking scary as a zombie. Captain Marvel, aka Carol Danvers. This is where the set kind of gets off. I know Deadpool has been an Avenger. Everybody's been an Avenger at this point. But you don't always associate Deadpool with the Avengers. And so, yeah, this does go off the rail a little bit. It does again in a moment. But, yeah, I would not think Deadpool would be in an Avengers set. So it's not a perfectly themed Avengers set, is what I'm getting at. For the superheroes, you get Black Panther. Now again, this kind of, this Black Panther is great, but again, the next one kind of takes it off the rails a little bit too. Doctor Strange. Now, some will fight me on this, but generally speaking, Doctor Strange is in the Defenders, not in the Avengers. So, yeah, I know some people are going to say, no, it doesn't matter, but yeah. I do like the base on him where it's the Sanctum and it's got all these tentacles floating around. That's fun. Alright, Ms. Marvel, again, I know she was in kind of a version of the Young Avengers, or I can't remember exactly how that one went. But, still, you don't often think of her as a mainline Avenger. Thor, okay, we're back to the main line. Thor looks awesome. I mean, he looks cool as hell. Scarlet Witch looks cool. I really like that sculpt. Really, really nice. And of course, Spider-Man. There's an argument there. I mean, I can get it. Now, another one of those controversial points is that in this set, apparently an edict from Marvel/Disney came down. They could not do a zombie Spider-Man, which is strange because people kept asking for it throughout the campaign. The other one they kept asking for was the Punisher. And this was shortly before all that stuff with the Punisher happened in the comics. So you kind of see why they didn't want anybody to do that one. They were wrapping that up at that point. Okay, so in addition to that, you get a bunch of map tiles. You get bystander cards that tell you what their powers are. get zombie hero cards that tell you their abilities. You get spawn cards. Now, in case you're not familiar with Zombiecide, you draw these to see how many zombies spawn, or in this case, shield agents. And of course, if you look, the different colors are the different levels of difficulty. So if you're at a higher level of difficulty, you'll get a higher number. So yeah, that's how you determine that. And of course, trait cards, which can be added onto the tray, and then you get little extra powers. It's all in the card, though. And you get a bunch of tokens. Like I said, I went for the plastic tokens. Maybe I was dumb to do that, but oh well. You got what has become somewhat of a standard in Zombiecide, the dashboards. These are cool. I've only seen one Zombiecide game that didn't have these. And instead they had a card to use. It was really stupid and bad, and I hated it. But you put your character card in. You have a little block that you can put in that tells you your level and your hunger and all that stuff. Well, in this case, hunger. And that's how you keep track of things. You have color bases. This is to mark your character so that you know your character. There's no doubt your character is you. I mean, most of the time I would think, get your character, what's the big deal? But I guess I figure some people are going to screw up or something. Get tracker cubes. Like I said, they go into the tray. Of course, dice. You need dice. Now, you also get in here the bystander tokens for hero mode, the zombie tokens for hero mode, the zombie cards for hero mode, and most importantly, the hero cards. Now, I need to address this because this is a little strange. What is this? Why are you getting hero cards? Okay. This box set does not have the rules for the heroes. This is only the rules for the zombies. Now keep in mind, this was $110 to start out with for this box set. The second box set was additional $110. And you can get both in a bundle and save a few bucks. Of course, if you got the biggest bundle, you saved the most. You saved about, I think it was like $50, something like that. $40, $50, something like that. So, yeah, the bundled choices were kind of hard to come by. I changed my mind a lot during this campaign, I will admit. And this was the controversial part of this game. If you buy just the base game, you can only play the zombie mode. You cannot play the hero mode. You have to buy the second box to play the hero mode. You need 2 boxes to play the mode most people probably want to play. I mean, the zombie mode sounds fun, but yeah, I mean, it's only good for a couple of plays, and then it's like, let me be the hero and beat up the zombies. So that got a lot of heat, and I can understand why. And a lot of people said they probably would have made a whole lot more money if they had separated it and put, you can buy in at one of the base prices, one of them being the hero box. A lot of people thought that would have landed them a whole lot more money in the campaign. But they went pretty far in the campaign, so I don't think they give a damn, to be perfectly honest. Now, when you look through the book, there's a lot of stuff, and the book looks a little thick for just a small game. Now, keep in mind, a lot of that is diagrams that kind of are explaining what you're reading. The other thing is there's a whole host of different types of scenarios that you can play in this game. And that's the point, is you can play scenarios and have a good time. You can play different scenarios at different levels, and that's how the game is played. Of course, you have the map cubes, which you can construct into different versions of maps on the board. Basically, the board is the cubes, and you can change it, rearrange it, and make new stuff. And actually, from what I've heard, it's pretty easy to make a scenario. You can make one up if you want. So, I mean, you've got that going for you, too. So, at least there's that. Now, was this worth $110? With all the stuff, with all the miniatures you get and all the gameplay stuff? Just barely. I would say just barely. Zombiecide used to come in around 90, 80 to 90, depending. And you got just as much. So some would argue a licensing fee. I don't think so, because the regular Zombiecide games went up to 110 after this campaign. I mean, this is a good game. I love the miniatures. They're nice. I fully plan to paint the zombies and the heroes, all of them in this set. And that's quite a few. Also the same with the He-Man set. But I'm not going to paint all these zombies. No, no. I'll probably leave them unpainted. I will probably leave the bystanders for the most part unpainted. I might paint a few. But the heroes and the zombies, yeah, those are getting some paint. Because those will look cool with some paint. Now, it does seem a little overwhelming when you first start reading, but then one thing you got that is really advantageous is you just flip the book over, and there is a summary of how the game is run each round. And that kind of helps balance it out. And, you know, it seems like a lot of information, but really it's just like, you know, a good condensed version of the information you've already read. And then there's quick action guides for targets, so it's not that terrible. If you played a Zombiecide game, you kind of know what you're doing. Now, I'm going to mention this in the X-Men video too. The other side of this is that honestly, I've read through the rules on the heroes. If you wanted to buy just the base game in the campaign and go by the zombie rules, you can just about intuitively figure out what the rules are in the hero mode. It's not that different. It's literally a flip. Guess what? You don't devour anybody as a hero. Isn't that strange? You know, a lot of it is your basic Zombiecide game rules. There are some differences and variations because we're talking all these superpowers. But there is some things in the second box set you do need to kind of get the full experience, like all the scenarios. So yeah, I mean, it is a little bit underhanded to make you buy 2 games to get the full experience of the game that you would want. That's kind of bullshit. And that was the first thing that really set me off. Now, I was like, I'm gonna probably buy a whole lot more anyway. I wanted the X-Men Resistance set. I just bought it. So that's the next video going to be about the X-Men Resistance set. Which makes a whole lot more sense in this set. Because, you know, here's the point. As I said, Doctor Strange, Miss Marvel, and Deadpool, you kind of go, huh? What are they doing here? This is an event, you know, this seems to be Avengers until you get those guys in. And, you know, you can still point out Blind Al, Hydra Bob. I mean, yeah, you see where I'm getting with this. I'm sure some people are going to be like, you know, you can. But that's the point. There's an argument. There is, if you just think about it, you see what I'm saying. There's an argument that this isn't matching up. Deadpool's the big one. Miss Marvel slightly, Doctor Strange a little bit more. But, you know, I mean, if you look at it, yeah, it's pretty much an Avengers-themed box set. Now, this, again, I'll come back to this later because there is a box set in this set. There's a box set in this game that really gets clunky, really bad. And it's kind of Avengers related too, so I will come back to that. But for now, I'm gonna wrap it up. Go on over to the X-Men Resistance video now, and we'll take a look at that.